Coming to your seated posture, sitting in a chair, half lotus or full lotus. Taking that deep breath in through the belly, engaging the diaphragm as you fill up the lungs. Retain the breath for a second or two, and then slowly exhale as you contract the ribs and let out the last bit of breath as you pull that belly button in towards the spine. Allowing each breath to get heavier and heavier as you sink into your personal meditation. Today we're going to discuss Gita De Laurentiis. She's a chef, an Emmy Award-winning personality on Food Networks. She's been a judge on Food Networks as well, and an author. She most recently wrote Eat Better, Feel Better. This was from a podcast on Good Life Project, and she starts off by saying that a lot of the book is basically just about, as we get older, we start to realize and just embrace the life that you have. Accept where you are, and you will actually have a much better time, and your body and mind will feel better. She says we spend so much time trying to perfect and edit everything that your body and mind take a huge beating. She says you don't realize it because you're in the hamster wheel all the time when it's happening. Gada comes from a family in film. She's originally from, her family's originally from Italy. She attended UCLA and then went to Paris to attend Le Cordon Bleu, School of Le Cordon Bleu. She basically worked in kitchens for a while when she came back to Los Angeles, and she was doing catering. And then in 2003, she was approached to do some TV on the very new Food Network. And several years later, everything sort of came crashing down in her early 40s, she said, after her divorce. She took a year off and kept talking to herself through therapy, meditation, acupuncture, diet changes, and she said quiet, just shutting down the noise. She said she was at a fork in the road, and basically she picked her daughter and her sanity over everything else. She said she had taken on too much and had come to terms with doing without this forward persona. In the end, she decided she had to trade, and it would all work out, even if she lost, the TV network, and, at least she could cook, she said, and she could, start from there. Physically, she said her body was not as robust as her mind. She said she had an addiction to sugar that was ultimately breaking her system down. She said there were several factors. She said she had a lot of emotional stress. It was a lot of travel. It was irregular meals that would cause her to feel foggy. She said she was always sick. Regarding her diet, she said she was constantly bloated, not digesting well. She would break out in rashes at times, and she finally realized her body was just not doing well, and she had to find its harmony. So from there, she kind of tried to determine what the path forward was. She wanted clarity in her mind. She didn't want to feel sluggish. She wanted to stop feeling anxious, frustrated. She felt like she was not appreciating anything, and she felt like she was just rushing through everything. And in the end, she just said she wanted to find peace. Coming from a family raised in Europe, Rome, Italy to be exact, she moved over to the Americas, and she said she wholeheartedly embraced the American culture she grew up in. Basically, the harder you work, the better you are, and she found that not to be truthful. You know, in Italy, there's a sacredness around pace. She says dinner is an event, and you know, you have siestas there, and all of this kind of helps with that harmony. So she decided to try meditation. She changed her work hours from Monday to Thursday, started taking Fridays off. She lessened her work and told herself she would only do one podcast a day. She basically just wanted to have time to be present in the things she was doing. With the meditation, she says, it's early in the morning, and she said, even if it's 5 minutes, it makes a world of a difference. The last thing she focused on was her diet. She really takes the time to eat good meals. She implemented supplements into her diet. She also talks about quality of ingredients. She says she can't stress how important that is. And she recommends something as simple as Parmesan cheese. Instead of buying the grated, pack, she says buy a piece of Parmesan cheese that you can grate yourself. Put it in the fridge. It'll keep itself in the fridge fairly well. But, when it comes to, she had a lot of allergies in the beginning, to dairy, to wheat, to even caffeine at one point. And she basically just had to stop everything. And then she learned to slowly, with smaller portions, obviously in the beginning, very small portions, but she learned that to have less of the stuff that was irritating you, but then as you find that moderation, you can bring it back in, but just, if the recipe calls for 2 cups of Parmesan cheese, and, she would try 1 cup and see how she did. And this slowly really worked for her as she found her own moderation. And then she closes by saying that there's a connection between the senses, the digestion, chewing. It all works with the brain and the endorphins that you get. She says in the Western world, everything is separated. But functional medicine has brought it all together, and it's just this harmonious system is what it is. So if you're looking to change some recipes, maybe check her book out. Eat Better, Feel Better. On the next inhale, take that deep breath in through the nose. On the exhale, gently start to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, nod your head right to left. And taking another deep breath in through the nose. And on that exhale, gently open your eyes. Namaste.